we're here at the Koroipita Model Town together with the management of the Koroipita Model Town and our implementing partner, the University of Fiji, and we have piloted an experiment around plastic circularity and solid waste management to understand how we can change behaviors, mindsets, and attitudes towards the plastic circularity, circular economy, and of course solid waste management in what we call closed community setup, which is Koroipita is known for. Koroipita, I'm going to pass it on to Lamba to give a brief background of what Koroipita Model Town is all about and what are some of the initiatives and interventions that are running in the community as far as solid waste management is concerned, plastic circularity is concerned. And I'm going to basically ask her what are some of the key learnings from the experiment that was, co-conducted between Koroipita Model Town, the UNDP Pacific Accelerator Lab, and also the University of Fiji. So perhaps we'll start with Lamba to give us a brief background of what the Koroipita Model Town is all about and what has been some of her learnings from this particular experiment. What does it mean for the community and what does it mean for the circular economy space? Over to Lamba.
All right. Koroipita Model Town is a project under the Model Town's Charitable Trust that provides housing to destitute families. Therefore, this program, it sort of kind of complements on how it helps them to keep up with cleanliness of the community and all that. We have a good a system of keeping our rubbish. We promote composting and recycling. So the program really, if you could see, most of them were of a matured age, and they've mentioned that it has made it easier for them to keep things tidy in the home, the cleanliness of it. And I said, how so? It's how they separate different kinds of rubbish. Whereas before, they just knew rubbish are all the same. Yeah. And they got to learn a skill of upcycling of taking their waste, plastic waste, and to doing it to something that could be usable or reusable. Right. For an example, for the 2-liter plastic bottles, they now use it as a vase at home, or they use it as something of how they pour water and use it as when they water their garden, sprinklers, because they couldn't afford to buy an actual sprinkler. So they use that as sprinklers as well, and other sorts of things. I think the highlight of the program that was conducted to them is the fact that this is something that they can take and adopt it, provided they get to move into full formal housing. They take the behavior with them. So it's going to, sort of trickle down to their next generation. And so, because this is something that have been practicing from the grandma to the grandchildren in the home.
What does it mean in terms of behavior change, mindset, and attitude when it comes to solid waste management in this community? So I understand that there is a governance structure around how to keep your environment clean, neat, and tidy, which Koroipita was very successful in implementing. But what does this experiment mean in terms of value add to what was already there in terms of the governance structure? I know that you have got the Green Scouts, you've got the
reality girls,
and then you have got the block leaders. So there is bits and pieces of governance structures, rules, and guidance that are already in the community. But in terms of this project from UNDP and University of Fiji coming in as an implementing partner, what does this mean in terms of value adding to the work that is already being done in Koroipita?
I think the value that's added to it, because normally before we have certain days where they collect once a week. So they have a pile of waste, with you providing that those bins, they enables them to keep it safely and in a more hygienic manner. That's the added value. And then when the day to come for the big collection, it's well stored and they are disposed.
Okay. So the other question is now in terms of what is being collected, segregated, and then managed at the Koroipita level.
Yeah.
Do you have any model in mind that is going to, for example, help provide an economic machinery around this circularity? For example, is there a private sector out there that may come and buy from Koroipita and then communities get paid for the waste that they are generating? Or is there a mechanism in place that allows for the upcycle products to be sold, outside of Koroipita or in other markets. Is there something that can be added to help, channel that pathway for communities that are living here to make additional, economic, maybe outputs or economic, improvements in their livelihoods through this mechanism?
I think the upcycling of it, because we've got visitors coming, and then we are invited into certain ministries to go and display some of our artwork. So this is something that they can sell and get money out of it, and to sustain them for the essential basic needs. Of course, yes, this is and we are trying to get them, once they get their products done, using their waste, we'll put it on. We're trying to introduce to them Viticat so that they can put it, and because they won't be able to have the means to take them to another point, but that we can do it here in the comfort of their homes, put it on Viticat, and they should be able to get it.
So that is something like probably going into the digital space to market their
That's
products.
Right. Okay. That's right.
That's one. Anything else that you can see? For example, tourism is picking up. Does this product can find its way in the tourism market, or how?
Yes, it can be, because as of right now, we're partnering with the tourism industries, whereby we make bags out of trash. These are offcuts from. So this is something too that we can use, maybe book tags or something to use with waste, and send it over to the tourism sector as well.
What are your learnings as a personal, at a personal level, given that you manage these communities around, in this area?
That's right. This morning I was sharing to the residents this morning, where I live, I live in the city area, where we just take all our rubbish into a big bin and it's put out for. But the learning to me today was, to take and adopt the segregation of all this and practice it at home. This is the learning that I got out from the activity. Because if it was done here, like, we are aware of the segregating of rubbish, but the practicality of it, maybe because of the different setting that we are at, just put it all together and take it. But then again, the challenge would be for me is, I was thinking around the aspect, if I get to segregate my rubbish, how does it stay in that manner when the LCC comes and pick up my rubbish?
And what would be your message for other stakeholders in this ecosystem? For example, the municipal councils, the rural authorities. What would be your key message to the Ministry of Environment, the Department of Environment? What would be your message to the academia? And what would be finally your message to the developmental partners and the developmental world?
I think the key message would be, one, we are aware of this thing that needs to be done, the promoting of green, the promoting of recycling, the practicality needs to be forthcoming. So therefore, this is a project that should be adopted and must be implemented, and we need to be practical together in order for communities to develop, is to grow together. It'll be different. Here in Koroipita, it works well because it's a control environment. I think the significant of it would be the setting. Control environment, it'll be easy. For the academians, they need to implement more of this sort of kind of survey into all communities, so that they could see, at least compare and contrast informal control setting and, informal, and see how different it is and how we accept this thing. And, and write about it. Because oftentimes, if it's just a mere talk about and it's not documented by academics, it's of no value to some people. When it's written by academics, they did a study, it's experimented, peer reviewed and stuff like that. Yeah, for our regulators, they really need to enforce it and step up to the plate. For an example, here in Fiji, we had that the litter penalty that we had, but now it's gone away. Into schools, to promote how effective this program is, because once the younger ones learn how to, be practical about it, then they'll adopt it easily and transit well for them when they get adults.
And then what about your thoughts for the developmental partners?
Yeah, well, for development partners, I think it's so good when we exchange ideas. You might get the theory part of it, and for certain other areas, like for us in the community, it's the practical part of it. So we sort of the reciprocal learning is what makes development effective.
Yeah. And I mean, from the experiment and the pilot that we, had in this community here at Koroipita, we have seen the success, right?
Mm-hmm.
The return of investment has been there for the pilot, where we see the change in mindset,
Mm-hmm.
the change in behavior,
Mm-hmm.
the way people now view, solid waste,
Mm-hmm.
the way people view organic waste, the way people view, recyclable waste. And then, they're already talking about, how they want to change the mindset of their children, so that when they're out in the, not only within the Koroipita Model Town, but also, for example, in the urban area, that they're doing the right thing, that they're putting the rubbish where it's supposed to belong, etc., etc. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's a boost for our community, though. For an example, our current system of waste management, we were requested to conduct training in Public Rental Board, Lovu Hut. So this is something new, and I've been liaising with partners. We've got something in case you want it. We can exchange the knowledge.
Okay, who are these people?
Public Rental Board. Yeah. It's under Ministry of Housing and Lovu Hut.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
So at least the learnings could be transferred to at least these two types of settings now from Koroipita Model Town, which can have greater impact.
That's right.
Outside of Koroipita Model,
इसमें फूटा शीशा सा जैसे बताइए ना रखो और इसमें मैला आएगा किचिला मैला
Kung sabi ko nga nila do na gan pakita ati ko. Hati ko na bot sandung ko sale kana bot. Hati ko bang tingon ang kanbu.
Kita tarong ang akim nimbu banta ka na napuno ni kaniso pambeno na kontin limo.
Lubi ko sa kana
ko ngamay.
Amay beauty. Seber banga ando di banga tay.
Okay. Nakawali mo.
Sabi na kanyo sanggay ako niya, sanggay likila na kay ka. Usang kay ba yun?
Oh iya. Kim ni ando biro ko ababuli tingon kana ko may.
Iyo, kitong wala yan.
Oy, natapo kim ni banta kin mimbikinom ni sul.
Di sa aming bitunga, o bang takatunga na nakanimbero na nuko, no? Na kami ni biskete, at na kani container cream balago. O bang takachikoy bali, puro bali ka. Yun na ka, benin tabiyo, kami na compose sila kaya, na recycle nga sa alay view nga yun na na line ni broccoli na nga ikaw yun.
Ito panikim ni maroroy, kinasingan bibantakin matakin ng benin.
Sabi na kanyo saan kay kilango, o saan kay lakako. Wala tiniliw doon may pamagal, ba't yung saan kasi? Siya nga ni pamagal tayo babina ka na.
Orto beri na dapat sa cheoy kumbit maroy tilom.
Huwag nga na isula, ba't nga gumita na isula?
Oh, yung guri. So tal ni sul
tilom.
tilom.
Siya nga na auto ko na bila, ba ni uray na ito na kanasap-saba, Sa singa ni Leito Isul, buto naman kate ni sa rin sa saba sa kamay na Isul sa saba min bioloma.
Okay.
Iyo. Ang sangkay ba nga takatunga na kaya naruwa na kaya.
So let's move on to our implementing partner, which is the University of Fiji. So we would just really want to focus on, what are the key insights that has been generated for you, and what are some of the ways you think that we will be able to scale this project moving forward. In terms of learnings, Lemba is already indicating that, Lovu Hut and the Public Rental Board is, happy to take on these learnings. What are your views from an academic lens?
Thank you very much. Initially, when we started off, we had a discussion about as to how Koroipita manages its waste. So that's where we started off in terms of moving to other communities as well. We'll have to do our baseline study first, then we'll have to learn how the current practice is. From there, we can build up and then find out the model that is going to work in that community. So that is one of the things that I think we have to do in any of the community that we go to. But I think it's a good idea. We can upscale it to other communities, to other villages, other settlements as well. And it is very important that we try and manage and segregate the waste at the source, which is the household level.
Yeah.
That's one of the key things I think we need to do in order to manage our waste.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one key highlights of this project. Would you be able to talk about two other possible highlights or key elements that really stood out as part of this experiment?
So when we were discussing in our group Talanwa session today, one of the key highlights is the children being involved. The kids are being involved at the what you call segregation of the waste, the cleaning of the bottles as well. And when they go out and when the relatives come over, they look at the bins, they look at how the community does the segregation component, and then they ask questions. Once they ask questions, the community members, they tell them, okay, this is why we are doing it, and this is how it benefits the environment. So I think that is one of the major benefit, and we feel elated by listening to those kind of experiences. And I think this can benefit not just the Koroipita community, but it can move out as well.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, so may I ask a few more questions?
Yeah, sure.
What does this mean for the academia world?
So in academia, we are usually confined to our research and teaching. And then going out to the community, this is where we can bring out whatever the research component is in the field and then try to implement. I think that's one of the benefits whereby academia and the community and the developing partners, we can all come together. Plus, we need to rope in government as well so that our policies are also developed in such a way that can assist in solid waste management. Okay.
So you've talked about certain key stakeholders. So we know we have got certain legislations around environmental, where we have got like the Environmental Management Act. We have got strategies, penalties. Lemba has talked about. What is it that we need to strengthen in terms of making not only Fiji but the general Pacific a space that is environmentally friendly, environmentally clean, and we have got the circular economy which is operating in this country, not only in country but really also in the Pacific region. What are your thoughts from an academic point of view?
I think from our perspective, doing these and other surveys as well, one major thing right now is that all our rubbish, majority of our rubbish ends up in the rubbish dump. Or in what you call village or household settings, the main practice is to just burn the rubbish. So the plastic bottles and all the general waste, the burning is there. So this is where the government plus academia can come together. Either we develop a mechanism as a model, or maybe we can develop policies surrounding it so that people know where the rubbish needs to go. From the beginning, from the household level. And coming to municipality level. So right now, when the rubbish is collected, it's just a general rubbish being collected. There is no separate waste collection for recyclables. There is no separate waste collection for bottles and tins and cans. So this is one of the things, but it will require investment again. And proper planning as well. Right? So that thing could be, I think, an added value to manage our waste.
And finally, my last question is in terms of the circularity, the circular economy space. The issue around waste management, plastics, etc., is very complex. It's a challenging space. For us to realize a very comprehensive and a thorough, if not the very initial, steps to moving towards circular economy, what would that be in your understanding? So this is a question to both of you.
Go ahead.
I think that's a tough one, but we need to take all these baby steps as we are doing. So implementing in different settings, right? Going from here, moving to say one of the villages, upscaling it, moving to municipality level. So we need to have more engagement, say local city councils, super city council, other councils, and how we can try and come up with a plan whereby we just not look at rubbish as the rubbish, but we can look at value. We can take value out of it. So looking at different mechanisms. The other component was the upcycling of rubbish, which we are not doing currently. Like very few people are doing it. If we can always have income generation of as well.
Yamba, your views?
I certainly agree. I certainly agree in the fact that the baby steps, it's very important. Again, in the community setting, it's easy to adopt stuff, learnings, but then again, the consistency of it, whereby we need policies in place, we need the government of the day. For an example, in collecting the rubbish, we may segregate it. Then what does city councils do with it? Do they continue segregating it? But if by reality you look at it, everything goes to the dump. It's still. So therefore, it's very important, having that policies in place so that we can have that consistency, that everybody thinks that we are all responsible to making or having our waste, kept well, discarded well, or even we can get value out of it.